and we're moving into our final conversation for today. And you must excuse me if I seem a bit distracted because there's just a table full of chocolate in front of me. And it is Mahogany chocolate. It's artisan handmade chocolate made in Punta Gorda right here in Belize. And I have with me Luis Cacao, who is the man behind Mahogany chocolates. Good morning.
Good morning, Marlene. Thanks for having me here in your morning show.
Yes. Well, Luis, let's get started. So this is a chocolate company based in Punta Gorda, right?
Right.
Tell me how you first got started.
So we started off in early 2016.
Okay.
Initially, we acquired the equipment perhaps earlier than that, earlier in the year.
Yeah.
But it didn't really kick off until 2017.
Yeah.
And we first started out with our retail outlet store in Mahogany Bay Village, San Pedro.
Yeah.
We have a retail store there, and we have a semi-kitchen there on the facility as well, and then one in Belize City. And then late last year in 2018, we consolidated these two processing facility in Punta Gorda. So we started operating in Punta Gorda, where we manufacture chocolate bars, chocolate products from the beans.
From beans grown in Belize.
From beans grown.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So we are a craft chocolate maker.
Yeah.
And primarily we produce chocolate bars, and you can see here we have two of our brands, Belizean brand and our Brockdown brand. But in addition to that, we also produce semi-finished product. We have our cocoa butter, cocoa powder, and cacao nibs, and even cacao beans.
Yeah.
We package and distribute.
Now, the cacao industry in Toledo has always been an important one. And I think over the years, we've seen more and more interest in the cacao that is produced in Belize. What used to happen before, and what still does happen, is that it's exported and then it's made into, wonderful chocolates that are primarily available in the European market. What you've done is taken the concept of the value-added product and made it here. Is it for, clearly, I don't know, is this for a local market or are you exporting it as is?
It's created for both. As you can see, the quality of the product, our packaging,
this is beautiful.
even the product in itself of high quality. It meets international standards. But going back to your question, yes, Toledo is the birthplace of cacao for Belize. We produce one of the best cacao in the world.
Yeah. It's very sought after.
Yeah, of course, yeah. We still export cacao beans.
Yeah.
Just to put that in the context, at the moment, we're producing approximately 110 metric tons of cacao. Okay. Of course, it's minuscule compared to world production, or even in this part of the world, but that's significant for us.
Yeah.
One, because we do not process all that. Yeah? We are processing approximately 20 to 25% of our cacao at the moment. All 9 chocolate makers in the country of Belize that I've counted so far are processing this amount of cacao beans. So that's a significant step for us as a country to process the product that we produce. This is different compared to 10 years ago maybe even 10 years ago, we were not producing anything. Yeah.
It was just being sent out.
Right. Most of it is exported. Most of it is exported. And now there's a shift, and you have more and more people being a part of the industry, from the production, from the processing, for trading, as well as the downstream.
What's so special about the Belizean cacao? Why is it so sought after?
So that's a very good point. One of the things is, first of all, we produce Trinitario cacao in the country of Belize. And so there's 3 types of cacao. There's 3 types of cacao. 1, Criollo; 2, Trinitario; and 3, the Forastero. Of course, there are others that are currently being developed in the Amazon at the moment. But those are 3 that we commonly known. Yeah. And the Trinitario is a mixture of both the Forastero and the Criollo. And of course, there are theories that saying that the Criollo is one of the best cacao, but really in terms of flavor does not have much flavor, but there may be robust, there may be high productivity on those type of trees, there may be tolerance to pest or disease, similarly to Forastero type. But what we have with Trinitario is a mixture of those. So we've extracted the characteristics of these two types of cacao into one Trinitario. But more importantly, though, is the flavor profile that is obtained from this Trinitario cacao that is important. Now, craft chocolate makers are more particular about the complex flavor profiles of the cacao beans that they buy.
And so this is native to Belize, or it was introduced?
The Trinitario, yes, is introduced to Belize, but yeah, we have. There's a study done by an archaeologist in Belize some time ago, I think 15 to 20 years ago, and he has discovered that in one of the Mayan temple, not developed yet, in Ushibenka in the Toledo district, he found a vase where the Mayans used to make cacao drink there. And this is where he believed cacao was originally domesticated in Belize. Of course, there are other theories, but generally the Mayans were at the forefront of the cacao.
We do know that cacao was an important part of the Mayan culture.
Right.
And in fact, many of the traditional recipes are still made today.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it's part of livelihood, especially the Mayan communities everywhere throughout the country. Cacao is sacred to them. They must have cacao at some point during the year. And make their traditional cuckoo drink and consume it. Now we're turning it into fine products like our Brockdown or Belizean.
Yeah, I love the names. I really do. But Luis, talk to me. You are a chocolate maker, right?
Right.
What type of training does that take?
Well, I'm only a novice yet still. I'm still learning the trade. But I developed this passion some 5 years ago after working in the industry, in the cacao industry, for practically all my work life, all my work experience.
You were doing the traditional tours?
Well, no, it's mostly working with the growers. I was involved in the association. I was working with Green and Blacks. They were purchasing cacao beans from Belize. And so it was more on that end, upstream, on the farming aspect. And 6 years ago, I started to develop this interest in chocolate making. And that's how I started. And for me, it was to actually visit chocolate factories, see how it's done, learn on my own basically. And in this industry, the craft chocolate making industry, most of the people learn by actually reading, by sharing information with one another, and as a result improve the craft. But in other developed countries, for example, Switzerland, Belgium, where this is the capital of chocolate, you actually have to be certified. But these are more chocolatiers. They actually work with already produced or processed cacao beans, such as couvertures or compound chocolate, and then they make them into fine, good quality products like such as these, for example, pralines. So that is the work of a chocolatier. So chocolate making, a chocolate maker, in my definition, you take it from the beans all the way to a chocolate bar. So when you want to go more into details and make this fine products, bonbons or pralines, then that's a chocolatier work.
I'm just so distracted. It's like I'm getting so hungry just talking about this. But so what happened? You're using locally sourced beans, and you're going it. I want people to understand what we're doing. So you take locally sourced beans and you produce the chocolate that we see here.
Right.
And that's we see some chocolates made in Belize, but I mean, I think your packaging clearly makes it very distinct as well. But you keep on calling it craft chocolate, and that's an important distinction to be made. Why, how do you distinguish it? Because, you know, in Belize, we grow up chocolate is a Snickers bar.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's basically craft chocolates. You take it from the beans and you produce using the basic equipment that exists on the market to make this product. 15 years ago, the equipment to manufacture chocolate there almost did not exist. A lot of people, even today, for example, in the craft chocolate, we use stone grinder, and the stone grinder is currently used by a lot of people. Now it has evolved basically, but it first started with this brand from India, and they use that to make peanut butter there, right? So, and of course the Indians are advanced technologically, and they have invented that, and so we start to use that. We found out that it can work for chocolate. So a lot of the people in the craft chocolate industry started to use that,
Yeah.
and pretty soon it spread across. So it requires, it is a lot of work. You take the beans, you roast it, you spend a lot of time, unlike large manufacturing companies where they practically do not see the beans. They just empty it in tunnels, and it comes at the end of the 300 meters down the road as a finished product.
Yeah.
Here, we actually take and spend time with the beans.
Yeah.
We take care of them. We handpick them and to select them to go into our roasting.
Yeah.
Then from our roasting, we take them into our cracking and winnowing. And every step of the way, you're paying close attention to details. You want to make sure that you get just the right roasting profile. You want to make sure that you clean and winnow your nibs properly. And that's basically a craft on its own.
And this is what the roasted bean would look like, the dried bean would look like.
Right. As a chocolate maker, one of the things that's much more important for me is the cacao beans.
Yeah.
I want to be able to have...
For people who don't know, this is the fruit that you take off.
Right.
It's not quite ripe yet, right?
It's ready. It's ready. It's just different.
And you get a little white bean that you peel, and this is the seed that's left behind. Yeah.
Correct. You have an idea of the cacao, how the process to take it to the beans, at least, Marilyn.
Yeah.
So yes, it's important for us as chocolate makers is the fermentation of the cacao beans.
Yeah.
To ensure, we want to ensure that it's properly fermented and dried, and that we have even weight on each of the bean, because you want to minimize less loss during the manufacturing process. And so for us, we work with the Belize cacao traders. And the Belize cacao traders work with 150 growers.
Yeah.
And those 150 growers are subsistence farmers that cultivate on average maybe an acre and a half, 2 acres. Now because of our social sustainability program, we're helping them to increase their acreage. So these growers cultivate, their main task is to cultivate, and we go out there with our trucks, pick up the beans, pay them cash on delivery or on pickup for their beans, transport them into our fermenting and drying facility where the beans start the process of fermenting and drying. So 2 weeks later, then you have these fine fermented and dried beans.
Now, I was told that our beans are particularly good for dark chocolate or bittersweet chocolate.
Right. I mean, once you have high quality cacao beans, you can practically make anything with it.
Yeah.
And the better route to take with that is to make chocolate products that you really truly represent the cacao beans.
Yeah.
Of course, there's the other route where you canvas it with cocoa butter and milk and sugar, and then you don't have the beans represented. And as craft chocolate makers, this is exactly what we want to do.
Yeah.
However, you also have your local consumers who know chocolate in a different way, and so still demand with some sugar and some milk and so forth, but you're using a high value product, a raw product into that product. And that's one of the drive for us as Mahogany Chocolate to produce the breakdown bar.
So the breakdown bar is milk chocolate bar.
It's a milk chocolate bar. It's a 50% base cacao, and so you have milk, you have sugar, but you also have
half of it is made out of chocolate.
Of cacao, of cacao, and then you also have almonds inside.
Ooh. So, I'm trying to understand. So clearly, you are creating a product, and I see your milk chocolate here with different percentages, and this one is your fine chocolate. It's 72% dark.
Right. So our two products will be the Breakdown and the Belizean bar. These are products that are out on the market at the moment. Our Belizean is a 72% dark chocolate. We truly want to represent the beans produced in Belize. And then second product is our Breakdown. It's a 50% cacao-based chocolate, milk chocolate, and that is more for a lot of local consumers who are still yet want basically something sweet, but at the end try to inch towards consuming fine flavored dark chocolate. And so that Breakdown is truly a product for them.
And we gotta love the name, right?
Right. And then we recently we developed 5 other flavors. Those will be launched on the market very soon.
Oh, these are flavored?
Yes. So for example, with this one, this is our 57% dark milk chocolate. So it has higher content in cocoa, and but it's a milk chocolate.
Uh-huh.
Then we have our 60% light dark chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know Belizean palates, right? So clearly, what do we like? We like light more than dark.
Right. Well, I do not know well, but clear all indications that the Belizean consumers prefer something below 30%. Could you believe it? So
we're really eating chocolate.
Yeah. We consume a lot of chocolate that contains less than 30% of cocoa, and so it's more. I term it as more of a candy.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not really chocolate. I must say though that in the last 4 years, I've seen some shift in the consumption palette. More people are more gravitated to dark chocolate.
Yeah.
Right? And that's very good for the chocolate makers in the Belize industry. But that's also important for the local growers because they produce such a good, high quality product, and these chocolate makers take those exact same product, cacao beans, and manufacture into fine products like those. So it thrilled me. I'm happy that that local consumers now gravitating towards that.
Do you think it's access? Because I mean, we really did only have access to like candy bars and milk chocolate bars, but I see more and more access to dark chocolate. I think a lot more people know. Like I'm one who's been converted to more dark chocolate, but I also know that it's just a bit healthier for you rather than a milk chocolate.
Right.
Or candy bar, I should say.
Right. So there's so many factors. Access is one of them. The access is one of them. Distribution is a major problem for a lot of these craft chocolate makers.
Yeah.
Education is also another critical factor. Why consumers are not Belizean consumers, that is, still not gravitated to consuming local dark chocolate. Then another thing is pricing seems to be a challenge for a lot of Belizeans because here we are taking this fine quality product, producing into chocolate bar, and then you also have
it's handcraft. I mean, you have handcrafted
product, yes, and then you also have still on the market chocolate products that are manufactured elsewhere using cocoa beans from Africa, for example, where the price is at least 100% less than what the farmers are receiving here in Belize.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how do you compete with that? And you still have a lot of our importers bringing this product.
Yeah.
And so, on that part, you want to think education would be critical to change that.
Yeah. So, what are your price? If you want this in the local market, what's the price point that we're looking at?
Our product, Brackdong, is available in the market, and you can find our Brackdong anywhere between $4 to $4.50 Belize on the supermarket. We are now in 70 stores in the country, and very soon we'll be almost everywhere. So, and this is the first time that we're taking our product on a show like this, and we want to be able to have consumers know and become aware of our product, how it's made, and then, of course, they can always follow us on our Facebook page or visit our website to find more information how it's made. And then our Belizean.
Brackdong is on the market,
On the market,
right?
yes.
And then we have Belizean.
Our Belizean, again, it's on the market.
How do you explain what this is? What is it like?
So it's a 72 dark chocolate, right, with a lot of fruity flavor. When I want to get consumers to really understand about dark chocolate, I really want for them to savor dark chocolate. You know, you don't want to consume your dark chocolate, and this goes for any dark chocolate that you pick on the shelves. Take a small bite, savor it, understand, get the flavor profiles that the chocolate is providing you, and eventually you will like that type of chocolate, And of course, we all have different palates. One chocolate is good for me, may not be good for you. You may have a different flavor requirement. And so at the moment, it's still undefined. What we do at Mahogany Chocolate is to want to make sure that our Belizean remains the same. We want to make sure that and that's because we have a strict policy in how we roast, and we want for it to remain the same. So that when one person identifies a chocolate and feels gravitated to it and likes it, then they can always come back and have the same chocolate
So this one is already on the market too?
The Brackdong and the Belizean, they're both on the market, and they can be found in the stores.
What's the price point for this one?
So this will retail for $12 Belize for a 90-gram chocolate bar.
For a bar, yeah.
90-gram chocolate bar.
All right. But you're also exporting it, I would imagine, or looking for markets to export.
Not us yet. We're not exporting as yet. We want to make sure that we capture the local market first. And so far, we're doing very well. Of course, there's more work to be done to penetrate and reach other market. And there's some districts that we have not, we're not in yet. And so we want to be able to canvass the country, make sure that the local consumers have the opportunity to access these chocolate bars, these chocolate products. And then we look at the export. Of course, the export is the target. We want to make sure that these products do well in our local economy first, local country first, before they're exported.
So since you've had them in the supermarkets, how are they doing?
Well, let's put it in perspective. In December, when we first put our products out there, we had maybe, let's say, 300 bars sold for the month. By February, it was up to almost 4,000 bars per month.
Oh, wow.
So it is going, it is growing, and that's good for us. And that's good news for our growers too, because we will be able to continue to purchase more cacao beans from our growers.
Yeah. I see some other items here. Are these only available at your processing plant?
Right. So these are the 2 product bars. 4 other chocolate products will be launched very soon. But in addition to that, we also make cocoa butter. Right? Now, cocoa butter is a value-added product from the cacao beans, right? And this is consumed by the pharmaceutical industry. This is used by pharmaceutical industry. This is used also by pastry chefs. The cacao butter is a good friend for them, especially when they're making their pralines and bonbons. They would do mixture with it. And craft chocolate makers also use cacao butter. Right, that's correct. Because you also want to work. You want, when you produce your chocolate, you want to make sure that you produce good chocolate, and you want to make sure that you temper it well. And one of the ingredient to improve and enhance tempering, or to create that shiny, more flowing chocolate, would be the addition of butter. So they do use cocoa butter. So
I think people just know cocoa butter for lotions and
lotions,
moisturizers,
exactly, yes.
which it could be used for,
of course,
sure.
absolutely. It's used for that.
But it's also used in chocolate production.
Chocolate production and so forth, And so this is available. I'm proud to say that very soon, by the end of this month, we'll be making our first export of cocoa butter to Japan.
Oh, wow.
Right. And so this value-added product, cocoa butter, cacao nibs, and cacao powder,
you also have the cacao powder,
will be exported rather sooner than some of these finished chocolate product bars.
Why is it easier to get the other byproducts rather than the chocolate?
Like I mentioned, this market will be for craft chocolate makers. So you also have, and then the craft chocolate maker, chocolate industry is growing rapidly. For example, in the US, 10 years ago, there may be 20, 24, 25 craft chocolate maker. Now there are over almost 300 craft chocolate makers. So it's growing. And access to natural cocoa butter is a challenge for them. And that's it's a market opportunity for us.
Awesome. And you didn't bring any cacao nibs because that's such
I have cacao nibs.
Product.
I have cacao nibs.
Unfortunately, I made my own nibs just now, right?
I noticed. Unfortunately, our table is too small. But we want to highlight these products. Yes, but we also produce cacao nibs. As a matter of fact, cacao nibs, cacao powder, and cacao butter will be the first product to be exported.
And cacao nibs, it's actually trending as one of like the superfoods, so it's very popular.
Right. It's a superfood. It's an antioxidant, and a lot of the people consuming nibs. I mean, everyone's almost consuming nibs now. It's it's healthy for you also.
And it's chocolate flavor, but without the sweet.
Without the sweet, without the sugar. It's raw like that. And people make it with their smoothie in the morning, or put it on top of their yogurt, or just consume it as a snack.
Awesome. So, as you said, you are in 70 supermarkets already. If there's a supermarket who doesn't have your product, how do they get in touch?
So they can. We're always out there promoting our chocolate bar, and for those that want to carry our product, they can contact us via our website, or they can contact us. Yes, Orange Oahu and Curacao. They can contact us via our website, our Facebook page, or social media page, and reach us at the 722-2222, or email us at info@mahoganychocolate.com, and then one of our sales representatives or myself will be responding, and we'll give them our price list, the product that we offer, and then we'll move on from there.
So there you have it, Belize. When you see Brook Down and Belizean on the shelves, it's made in Belize, grown in Belize, processed by a Belizean, and definitely worth the investment there. And I always do this, and I know people always say it's like asking your favorite child, but which is your favorite?
For me, I prefer dark chocolate, and
the Belizean?
Belizean 72% is my favorite dark chocolate, yes.
Okay, so this is the Belizean
This is the Belizean right there.
I'll take a quick sample at the end of the show. And we definitely want to thank you for coming in and telling us a bit about the product that you've put out, and so people know when they see it that they know it's an authentically made Belizean product, and we can show our support as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We're going to go ahead and take that final break, and when we come back, we'll have our wrap-up, so stay tuned.